Pope Leo XIV is sending a special video message for Saturday's Mass in his honor at the home of the Chicago White Sox. The Holy Father is missing Saturday's celebration, but he has been to Wright Field many times in person. This includes Game 1 of the 2005 World Series. Then Father Robert Prevost was in attendance when the White Sox defeated the Houston Astros 5-3, en route to winning the title. With him that night were his friends Ed Schmit and Ed's 5-year-old grandson. EWTN's Tara Mergener recently spoke with the grandson.
And the grandson, Eddie Schmidt, is now 25 years old, and he joins us now. Eddie, great to be with you. I think this is one of the, you never know moments. Not many people can say they've been to a World Series with a future pope. So you were only 5. Do you remember anything about that?
I remember bits and pieces, and it's good to be here with you, Tara. I remember bits and pieces of the game, and my grandfather was always good friends with Father Bob. And, to look back at it and see that I ended up sitting right next to the Pope at Game 1 of the World Series is pretty incredible. And I always knew that that video existed of the last out of me right next to him. But, I looked back at it after all this started to emerge, and I seen, I was like, is he the one sitting next to me? And sure enough, he was. And it was just incredible to see that. My phone was getting blown up in the beginning because he's a very good family friend of ours, I'd say. And when I was actually in Las Vegas when the news came out that he became the Pope, and then everyone was flooding my phone, and it was just an incredible moment for our family and for him as well. He's an unbelievable guy. I know a lot of this is about, me being at the game with him and stuff, but I would just like to say, if this message could reach the Pope, on behalf of the Schmidt family and the Skokel family, we wish you the best, and we know you're going to do great. And we can't wait for you to come back to Chicago.
I'm sure you guys are all super proud. So how did your grandfather strike up a friendship with the future Pope, and how many White Sox games did they attend together before all this?
So my grandfather was... he was on the board at St. Rita High School, and that's how he became friends with the Pope, well, Father Bob at the time. And they've known each other for a few decades. And, I mean, they were always pretty close. I think, Father Bob, if you kind of know anything really about him personally, he's just a very straightforward guy. He's very caring, very, down to earth, and he's just a great person overall. And my grandfather was very similar. And to the point of how many games they went to, I couldn't tell you exactly how many, but if he was in Chicago, I'm sure my grandfather tried his best to meet up with him or go take him to dinner or whatnot, whatever he was able to do, because I know he's a very busy guy.
What a special friendship it sounds like they had. So flashback for Game 1 of the World Series, you were in Section 140, row 19, and the White Sox recently made that area a landmark, if you can believe it, right? After being there yourself. So as a lifelong fan of the team, what is that like for you?
Our family's been diehard White Sox fans before I was born. We've had the same seats, same section for the World Series that we have them now. So we were there at the ballpark when they put up that mural, I guess you could say, and that's me sitting right next to him at the World Series. It's pretty incredible to see that because I still go to games as often as I possibly can, and to see that up there with that picture of me, my dad, and the Pope, it's incredible, because I'll always be like, that was me.
Yeah.
And the last game I went to, actually, I was with my girlfriend and a couple of my buddies and their girlfriends, and my girlfriend was sitting in seat 2, the seat that the Pope sat in, because I always sit in my papa's seat 1. And there was a little kid in front. He goes, "Do you know you're sitting in the Pope's seat?" And she just started to laugh. So I'm sure a lot of people are they know the section, they know the seat number and everything, and it's pretty cool to see.
It sure
see
is.
that.
Well, Eddie Schmit, who attended Game 1 of the 2005 World Series with the future Pope Leo XIV. What a great story. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Tara. Take care.